The badge scanner beeps green. You're 22, 3 days into your first real job, and the HR laptop in front of you is asking a question nobody prepared you for. Traditional or Roth, you don't know the difference. You Google it under the table while the benefits coordinator talks about dental coverage. Roth IRA. You pay taxes now, not later. Money grows untouched. Withdraw it in retirement, and the government doesn't get a cent of the gains. You read that twice. Then you check your first paycheck stub sitting in your email. $2,100 after taxes every 2 weeks. You open a Roth IRA that night from your studio apartment, sitting on a mattress still wrapped in plastic. $300. That's all you put in. Not because it's impressive, because it's what's left after rent, after the electric bill, after groceries that cost more than you expected. Your coworker Danny leases a new truck that month. Black chrome grille, payment of $640. You ride with him once. It smells like leather and ambition. You say nothing. You go home and set up an automatic transfer instead. $200 every payday straight into the Roth. You never see it. It disappears before you can spend it. 6 months in, the account shows $4,000. You don't feel rich. You feel exposed, like you're the only person your age doing this. At a barbecue, your uncle asks how work is going. You mention the Roth. He laughs, not unkindly, and says something about the stock market being a casino for suckers. You don't argue. You just keep transferring $200 every 2 weeks. Year 2, you get promoted. Junior analyst to analyst. The raise adds $11,000 a year. You increase the transfer to $350. You don't buy anything to celebrate. No new phone, no vacation. You eat the same turkey sandwich you always eat, sitting at the same desk, watching a number climb on an app you check maybe twice a week now, not obsessively, just enough. Then the market drops, 22% in 6 weeks. Your account, which took 18 months to build, loses $4,000 in a single afternoon. You stare at the red numbers on your phone in a parking lot outside a Kroger. Your hands are steady. You don't sell. You don't even flinch. Not really, because you read somewhere a long time ago that the account isn't real money until you touch it. So you don't touch it. You buy more, actually. Same amount, same schedule, into stocks that are 22% cheaper than they were 6 weeks ago. Your friends start noticing you're different. Not broke, not flashy, just quiet about money. You skip the golf trip to Myrtle Beach. You skip the bachelor party in Nashville, sending cash instead and a text explaining you're saving for something. Nobody presses. People stop inviting you to things that cost $400 a weekend, and somehow that doesn't sting the way you thought it would. Your apartment stays the same for 4 years. Same couch you got off a curb, same 12-inch television you've had since college. Coworkers upgrade around you, new watches, new sneakers, new lease agreements every 18 months. You upgrade nothing except the number in the account you don't talk about. There's a quiet satisfaction in that nobody else can see, the kind that doesn't need an audience to feel real. You start reading during your commute instead of scrolling. Not finance books exactly, just books. Biographies of people who built things slowly. You realize most of them weren't chasing a single big win. They were just still standing after everyone else quit. That idea sticks with you longer than you expect it to. By 26, you're maxing the Roth every single year. 6,000, then 6,500, then 7,000 as the limits rise. You get a second stream going, freelance work on nights and weekends, graphic design for small businesses that need a logo and don't want to pay an agency. $300 here, $800 there. All of it goes into a taxable brokerage account once the Roth is full for the year. You buy the same 3 index funds every time. No stock picking. No crypto group chats. 28. You get engaged. Your fiance has her own accounts, her own habits, and for the first time, you talk about numbers with someone else in the room. She doesn't flinch at your spreadsheet. She adds a column to it. That night feels bigger than the ring did. The wedding costs less than everyone expects because you booked a Tuesday in October and a venue that used to be a barn. People ask if you're embarrassed about that. You're not. You're doing math in your head during the toasts, the way some people replay highlight reels. Compound interest is your highlight reel now. 30 years old. Combined accounts cross $200,000. You remember the exact moment you saw the number, standing in your kitchen, holding a coffee mug that's chipped on the handle. You don't buy a bigger house to celebrate. You buy a slightly nicer coffee mug. That's it. That's the whole celebration. You do buy a house eventually, small, 3 bedrooms in a neighborhood nobody's heard of yet. The mortgage payment is less than what Danny pays for his truck. People assume you stretched for it. You didn't. You'd already stretched years earlier, every single payday, into an account most of them never opened. Your income keeps growing. Senior analyst, then manager. The freelance work turns into a small side business with actual clients on retainer. You're not working 80-hour weeks chasing it. You're working smart hours, and every extra dollar has a job before it hits your checking account. Some goes to the Roth, capped every January 1st like clockwork. Some goes to the brokerage. A little goes to actually living, dinners out, a trip to Portugal with your wife that you don't feel guilty about because you planned for it 11 months in advance. At 32, the market dips again. This one's worse, uglier, longer. Headlines everywhere about recession. Your father-in-law asks if you're worried. You tell him the truth. You're not selling anything. You're still buying. He looks at you like you're either very brave or very foolish. You genuinely don't know which one it is yet. Nobody does in the middle of it. 33. You and your wife have a daughter. The bills change overnight. Daycare alone costs more than your first car payment ever did. You don't stop the contributions. You adjust everything else instead. Fewer restaurant dinners, a used minivan instead of a new one. The automatic transfers stay untouched, protected like a bill you can't skip, because to you, that's exactly what they are. Your mother visits and sees the minivan in the driveway. She asks if things are tight. You tell her they're fine, and they are. Just rearranged, the way a budget gets rearranged around whatever matters most that year. She doesn't know about the account. Nobody in your family does. Not really, not the actual number. It's not a secret you're keeping. It's just never come up because it was never about proving anything to anyone standing in that driveway. 34. Your portfolio survives the dip, then roars back, then keeps going past where it started. You check the number on a random Tuesday during your lunch break, sitting in your car with a sandwich half eaten on the passenger seat. $981,000. You don't tell anyone. You finish the sandwich. 3 months later, you're standing in your kitchen again. Same chipped mug. Different life completely. Your daughter is asleep upstairs. Your wife is reading on the couch. You open the app one more time before bed, the way you have thousands of times over 13 years, and the number on the screen has a comma and then 6 more digits after it. $1,042,000. You're 35. You didn't win anything. Nobody handed you a check. There was no single decision, no lucky stock, no inheritance that showed up in the mail. There was a badge scanner, a benefits form, and $200 a paycheck that you decided 13 years ago you wouldn't miss. Your daughter stirs on the baby monitor. Your wife looks up from her book and asks what you're smiling about. You close the app. You tell her it's nothing. It's not nothing. It's 13 years of nothing happening on the surface, while everything happened underneath it. You go to bed at 11. You have work in the morning. The transfer will go through again on Friday, same as it always does. $200, now closer to $800, quietly, automatically, without you lifting a finger. Nobody at your office knows the number. Danny still leases trucks. Your uncle still calls the market a casino. You never argued with either of them. You just kept transferring money on a Tuesday afternoon in a Kroger parking lot, in a studio apartment with plastic still on the mattress, in a kitchen with a chipped mug for 13 years straight until one day the account did what you always quietly believed it would. It became $1 million quietly. And you were still exactly the same person who ate turkey sandwiches at his desk the whole time it happened.